Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the New Brick Workshop. Now, normally at this time of year, we've got a few woodworking shows going on. One can sort of go around and get some ideas for Christmas presents, not just for other people, but sometimes for yourself. But we've been denied that this year. And so I thought of this idea that I would just have a quick look around the workshop and see what things I've got that might give you an idea for a present that you might wish to give to a woodworking friend, or have someone give to you on your recommendation. Now, I appreciate this is a bit of a UK-centric video because of where I've got this kit from. However, I hope if you're not UK-based that at least I'll be able to give you some idea of something that you might like to be given or that you might like to give to a friend or a family member. And for those suppliers who have a catalogue online, I don't mean their normal web page, but a catalogue where you can turn pages, go from page 1, 2, 3 and so on. I'm going to show that, and I'll put the links to those in the description of this video so that you can click on it and go straight to those catalogues. Now, I find catalogues so much easier than a website, because a website you actually have to be going in for a particular item and you only might be offered a couple of items which are similar but not necessarily the same. Whereas a catalogue, it will be grouped in types of objects. So all saws will be together, all chisels will be together, and so on. So as you flick the pages of a catalogue, you might say, oh, that's slightly better than that one, or oh, yes, I also need one of those as well. So that's why I quite like a catalogue. Now, some of the stuff that I'm going to show you is well used. Please don't judge the item by the condition I've left it in. I've tried to get most of the dust off. Now, I've had to speak to the companies involved to make sure they didn't mind me pinching screenshots of their websites and then putting it in my video. But I've had no help from them. I've not asked for any free kit whatsoever. These are all items which I have, which I'm going to show you now. Now, I'm going to start with kit from Axminster, and my first item is this machine wax. It's not very expensive, I think about £9 a tin, and if you've got a planing machine or any other cast iron bed machine, it might be a router table or whatever it might be, then keeping the beds clean and lubricated with this is a good idea. It actually makes the flow of wood through a planing machine much easier. It also stops things from going rusty. Now, you may well have seen the video where I was talking about this T-track from Axminster and also these cam hold-down clamps. So if you're trying to set up something, this is a little makeshift item here for holding things on a bench, that works. And also with that T-track, you can use these lever clamps from Axminster. They slide in, tighten them up, and you're holding work wherever it is you need it. Now, when I was building the new workshop, I had to get loads of materials and stuff, and there's an Axminster store not far from my new location. And so I went in and grabbed loads of screws. And this is one box. You can see some of the longer ones are completely gone. My idea was that when I've emptied all these, I might put something completely different in there. And if you don't know what this is, well, wake up. It was in my most recent video series about template making. And this is the UJK guidebush set, threaded guidebush set. It's metric, goes from 10 up to 30 millimeters, and I think there are eight in all. And that's a good bit of kit. Now, I bought this probably 20 years ago, and they're still selling them today. And they're really good. I've modified these three, incidentally. I've put some extra holes to improve the dust collection. Tape rules. Now, Axminster have a range of precision tape rules, and this is one of them. It's a 5-meter rule, and it's really nice. For those people who have not yet gone metric, it has got some imperial scales on there. I'm fully metric, so I rarely look at that. But anyway, a nice little tape rule, and it is accurate. And if we're talking a spot on, if you've got a bandsaw, this is a little gadget called a Bandsaw Buddy, and you use this really to make sure that your blade is running true. I have got that when I got my new bandsaw. And probably at the top of the price range is this Bridge City Tri-Square. It's really nice. It feels so nice in the hand, and it's got some features which I think are really good. First of all, there's a little cutout here, so when you're checking something which is gluing up, you're not going to get glue in this corner. And also, if there was just a little splinter of wood on that corner, it wouldn't affect the measurement and so on. And there's a scale here that goes from 0 against this face up to 150, which can be very useful if you're marking out. And then on the other side, they've got a little gap. So if you're checking something up here, again, you wouldn't get glue on that corner there. Or if there's a bit of wood, sawdust or whatever in that corner, it's not going to affect your measurement. And again, there's a scale here that goes from 0 there up to 200 up here. That's quite good. If you like to cut dovetails, there's a little dovetail marking aid there. And yeah, all in all, it's very nice. It's very expensive though, and it's the sort of thing that you keep for best. Yeah, really nice. That would be a good present to give to your grandfather if he's a keen woodworker. I'm a granddad. Now, almost the odd one out in this group of companies is D&M. And the reason for that is that I've been to their shows so many times and I've bought a whole bunch of stuff from them, but I just can't remember everything I bought from them. So I'm going to show you a couple of little items now, but later I'm going to be showing you some things from Trend and from Bessie. And a lot of those things I bought at the D&M shows. But anyway, here's a couple of things which are really particular. Now there's a company that makes all sorts of really nifty sort of screwdrivers and things called Wera. And I've had a number of items from Wera. Their stand at the D&M show is always very, very impressive. Some of their kit's quite expensive, but they do have the odd sale. If you look at the D&M website, you'll see some offers quite often. One, I think it was probably the first thing I ever bought was this set. It's a little screwdriver handle and then a whole bunch of different bits that fit in it. And they fit in really well. And I used to keep this in the car all the time when I was going up and down visiting various people trying to fix things for them. I've now taken a different approach. There's one of these at each of my children's houses. So they've had Christmas presents from me in the past. There's always a really good Irwin stand at the D&M show, and I bought a number of things from there. And then, of course, you'll see later Bessie and Trend, which are also well represented. Now, over the years, I bought quite a lot of Trend stuff, and I'm sure many other Brits have as well. And I'm pretty sure they've got a good footprint in the United States of America as well. A while ago, I spoke about getting cheap and cheerful sets of router cutters, because some of them you might only use once or twice a year, or even in the lifetime of your routers. And that's what I've done. I've got two sets. One is actually in a drawer with the 1/2-inch shank, but this is the 1/4-inch shank set that I've got. I'm sorry, I should have dusted it off. It's a little bit grubby, but never mind. And basically you've got a full range of cutters. I don't know what the price of this is now. I'll show it on their website very shortly. So that's really good. If there are some cutters which you use a lot, then go for better quality. And you've probably seen that I've been doing some template work recently. So I've now got a little set of metric cutters here, and these are from their professional range. They're really, really good, and these are ones that I use, I won't say daily, but probably in a given week I'll have used 2 or 3 of these in every week. They do some pretty good PPE, and if you saw me building my shed, which was in the summertime, do you remember the summertime? The sun was shining, and I was wearing these safety glasses for quite a while, and there's a clear version as well, and so those are pretty good. And at the D&M show, they used to offer things like this. It's a little bit of a discount, which I thought was rather nice, really. And this angle finder is quite useful, particularly when you're trying to check something like this. You want some accuracy. Now, with any digital gadget like this, you should not expect the final digit to be particularly accurate. So with me, if it said 89.9 or 90.1, I wouldn't be worried. I bought, probably 20 years ago, an ordinary trend depth gauge for setting my router cutters. And so when the digital ones became available, I got one of those. And I find that really useful, particularly because of eyesight. You don't have to sort of squint quite so much to judge 0.5 millimetre or whatever. This is much easier to read and is a little bit more accurate, I suspect. And then in my toolbox, I always like to have a flush cut saw, and actually you can use it for things other than flush cutting. It folds up, which is useful. But bendy blade, flush cut. When you're using a flush cut, press with your hands on the flat bit here as you're sawing, and it really will, if you're getting rid of a dowel or the end of a dowel or something like that. Now, when I spoke to Trend and asked if it was okay for me to show extracts of their catalogue on this video, they said, oh yeah, no problem at all. But then they decided to send me a pair of tool bags. And I must admit, these are really good. Now, these tool bags will be going back to Trend, and I've asked them if they will donate them as prizes to woodworkers, free of charge, some sort of random draw, whatever it might be. It will be limited to UK people, but if you're in the UK and you get invited to either a Trend webinar or you go to a show and Trend are there, you may well be getting a chance to win one of these two actual tool bags. This is the cheaper of the two, and I think this is around about £35 or so. I quite like this. I'm not travelling around with tools in the back of the car anymore, so I wouldn't personally use one of these, but you can see the utility of it. It's got all sorts of pockets, a little zip-up compartment inside here, lots of straps and places to put tools, pencils, and mobile phone and so on, and even a place to put your name tag. And it's got a carrying strap that goes over your shoulder. This one is slightly different. It's padded completely, and it's designed, I think, more for people with loads of smaller tools, maybe electricians and so on. And there's lots of pockets and zip compartments here. And if I open up this one, you can see there it's got loads of places for all sorts of things. So that's that one. This one's slightly more expensive, as you might expect. I think probably £10 more expensive than the other one. But they're both very nice. And I'm going to put these back in their plastic bags straight away so they don't get dusty, so that some lucky person here in the UK will have them. And I'll put something in each of these that proves they've been here. And I don't know, it'll be a little card that says, you know, compliments of the New Workshop or whatever it might be. This is a thing called a door skate, made by Trend or made for them with their logo on. And basically it's a little pair of wheels, and the idea is that you would move a heavy door, or in my case, big sheets of MDF. Now, you remember when I made my track saw cutting station not so very long ago? Well, I had a whole sheet of MDF to move in the workshop, and this is how I did it. Sorry, this is a little bit grubby, but it's a tool after all. So just pop it on the ground. So all you do is you lift one end of your wood, put it on the gadget, go to the other end, and just quietly walk along. There you are, you see, it moves really freely. You could almost do Strictly Come Dancing with this. Mind you, I'm not going to get invited. I'm in the woodworking sector and I've only got 60,000 subscribers. Never mind. Now, I want to now tell you about the Woodworkers Workshop, run by Peter Sefton, a very, very well-known and very accomplished furniture maker. And he runs a school there. Woodworkers Workshop has got a website and they sell things. And I've actually been to talk at one of their shows once, which was a great compliment, really, considering I'm just a rubbishy old woodworker. But anyway, you'll have seen me using time and time again some things like this. And this is the Incra Precision T rule. And you can mark to the nearest 1/4 millimetre. There is an imperial version of this as well, but you can mark to the nearest 1/4 millimetre if you wish to. And it's dead easy. There's your piece of wood, pencil 0.5 millimetre lead, and all the holes are 0.5 millimetres, so you can then just make a mark very simply, very, very accurately. I bought the short one first and then I went and got this long one. I probably only use this one about 20% of the time because I don't need to go over the 150 millimeters, which the other one does. But it's just as accurate. It's really, really good. So I've got those. You'll see me using those a lot when I'm marking up for domino work. I think you know I've got this thing about squareness, hence the path guide system and so on. And this is my engineer's square. This is a 300 millimeter one. From the Woodworkers Workshop, made by Fisher, and this is about, I think it's about £55, something like that. Whatever it is, I'll put it up on the screen now. And two items that Woodworkers Workshop sell made by iGaging. One is Absolute Origin calipers, and these really are super duper and really well made. I've had this one for, I think, 5 years. Never gone wrong. I think I'm on my third battery for it now. And then there's this angle cube. I find this particularly useful on my Festool table saw, my little baby table saw, when I want to set the blade at an angle. Because it's got magnets here, attach it to the blade, zero it when it's in the upright position, and then rotate the blade until you get the angle you want. And finally, I'm going to talk about a couple of Bessey items I've got. I've got lots of Bessey kit that I've accrued over the years. I started buying it in 2002 when I saw Norm Abram, the American sort of woodworker, had all these Bessey clamps, and they look so good. And I must admit, I haven't been disappointed by any of them. For Christmas presents type things in the sort of sensible price range, there are these EZR clamps. I've shown these in a recent video. They're multifunctional. You can use them as pushing and pulling. You can use them through the top of your MFT3 table. If you're trying to clamp things down through those 20 millimeter holes, you can use them with guide rails, all sorts. They've got 6 uses each. They're absolutely brilliant. If you want to join the standard Bessey clamps together, you can get these joining pieces. And I've got absolutely no hesitation saying that everybody needs at least one pair of these. These are strap clamps. And it goes out to some huge, I don't know how much it is, whether it's 4 meters or whatever. Have a look on the website. But you can clamp things, and it's got corner pieces, so that if you're doing something which is 4 corners, those corner pieces protect the wood from the tightening strap, and they really are effective. And the final thing is this little craft knife. If you go to a show, these are the sort of promotional items which are normally fairly inexpensive. Take standard Stanley type blades. I think this one probably says Irwin on it. And very easy to change the blades. And when you're not using it, it folds up and you can actually put it in your pocket quite safely. Well, I hope this video has been useful. I know we've got a bit of time between now and Christmas. And if you're in the UK, you might be the lucky winner of one of these 2 trend tool bags at the back. I will put a little note in there or something to say that these are the ones that appeared on the New Brick Workshop. Meanwhile, I've got another idea for a Christmas present for me. Many thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.